Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Bidayah Screencast. Today we have lesson 18, which discusses words particular to the Quranic font. Again, in this lesson we will review the specific symbols and words and special forms of script that you'll find in the Quran according to the Uthmani script. We have two columns for this page. The first one is how it's written or marsum in the Quran. And then the second is how to read it. So we want the student, we've collected the most common special cases in the Quran so the student can get used to them. And the way to teach this page is to first have the student take them into groups. For example, lines 1 and 2. These both include compound letters that are drawn on top of each other. So the student will study these 4 words, read the first one, for example, tajri, the second one, and the student can realize that it's written in this way and it should be pronounced in this way. And then when we come to test the student on these first 2 lines, we will cover column number 2 and just ask the student to read downwards. We'll ask the student to read downwards from this column only, and so forth for the rest of the groups. The next group we have is lines 3 through 9, with the alif, the small alif saghira on top of the waw. We ignore the waw, we put an X on top of this because we want the student to skip it. And again, have the student study these lines, and then we'll cover the second column and just have the student read downwards from lines 3 to 9. The next group of exceptions we have is lines 10 through 14. We have the alif at the end of the word that is completely ignored, and you could see line number 10 combines the previous concept of small alif followed by the ignored alif. So this would be read as ar-riba, as shown here, and then we have amanu, amilu, thamuda, yu'tu. The student will study these, and again, as it becomes more repetitive, the student will get used to it. Then lines 15 through 17, we have the small waw, and this is very easy for the student because the waw is still there. However, we want them to be able to read it as if it's a large waw, not a dhamma. And again, cover the second column and have the student just read the first column. 18 through 20, we have the small ya. This is a new symbol, the student must get used to it. We have from 22 all the way until 26. We have another form of ignored alif. We have, for example, ulu. This is pronounced as ulu, and the student can get used to this. We have li shay'in. Anything with an X, the student knows to skip. Salasila, with a fatha, and so forth. And we have more exceptions here. Bi aydin, we have nunji, and we've, in line number 29, we have introduced iqlab, which is the noon is changed into a meme. Instead of teaching this in a complicated way with all of the rules of iqlab, we brought it in one example so the student can have a clear idea of simply if there's a meme on top of the noon becomes a meme. Dhanbihi, and so forth. Please refer to Bidayah's website for more practice. We include many more words that are exceptions that fall within these same categories. In this page we've sampled and introduced all the different categories, but we have more words available in the workbook and online, so that the student is not just memorizing these, so we can actually test the concept, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.